Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is Democracy and the Rule of Law. Let's now discuss Constitution Review Committee set up by the Senate. The upper chamber has constituted a 56-member Constitution Review Committee to handle all bills seeking the alteration in the provision of the 1999 Constitution. The 56-member review committee, which was announced by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan, who presided over plenaries headed by Deputy President of the Senate, Ovie Omagige. The members consist of 8 principal officers who are to serve as a steering committee within the larger committee, a Senate from each of the 36 states of the Federation, and 2 senators from each of the 6 geopolitical zones. The names of the 56-member committee are the Senate Leader, Abdullahi Yahya, Deputy Senate Leader, Professor Robert Ajayi Barofis, Minority Leader, Einaya Baribe, Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Emmanuel Bwacha, Minority Whip, Senator Philip Taminu Adidwa, and Deputy Minority Whip, Senate Sahabi Alhaji Yao, amongst others. The main aim of this committee, according to the Senate, is to give Nigerians, first, a constitution that will encapsulate all their yearnings, and also a fair playing ground, where all their needs are met by this particular constitution, which will be amended. Now, I know there are a lot of back and forth among some senators who are saying they're not being included in this particular committee. That's, by the way, the Senate is assuring Nigerians that everybody is well represented in this particular committee, as it cuts across political parties, religious affiliation, and what have you. According to the Senate also, this is an opportunity for well-meaning Nigerians to send in memoranda indicating areas, areas in which the Constitution needs amendment and should be looked at by this particular committee. Now, Barrister Chime, I'll start with you. What do you think Nigerians expect from this particular committee, which is coming, according to many people, at the right time?
Well, let me begin by saying that it is within the legislative competence of the National Assembly to review the laws of the land times as events unfold. Law itself is dynamic in nature, and over time, the legislator should be in tune with the changes the society. Be that as it may, I think that what the National Assembly is doing is to kind of come up with a new template that would address some of the major concerns of most Nigerians. But I feel that there's no point going through this route over and over and over again. It has always been a recurrent issue. I think what the Senate or the House of Assembly should preoccupy their minds it should be the confab, 2014 confab, that actually address majority of the issues within Nigeria. That report, that confab report of 2014 has not been implemented, and there were so many recommendations made in that report. So I think that should be a starting point towards addressing the major challenges facing Nigeria. There is no point trying to call for memoranda or call for people to come up with certain areas. Let me quickly add that the issue of insecurity is a major concern in Nigeria, and it is not by constitutional amendment that you address those issues. It should come from individuals. Listen to the grievances of all those, some ethnic uprising. Trying to address it. It has been addressed. So, like the issue of state police. If you look at the trend in society, you see that some tribes or some regions in Nigeria are coming up with certain security outfits to be able to curtail the incessant attacks on Nigerians. So these are issues that the Senate or House of Assembly should preoccupy their minds. There is no business, going into those constitutional issues. You should let them address or try to implement some of those recommendations as contained in that confab report. That is my position.
All right, Barrister William.
Yes, thank you very much. See, the first thing is these are lawmakers. They are lawmakers. And one of the things they should naturally do is how to amend. There are bills here and there, which they may want to look at in order to amend this. We have, as the chairman of this particular 56 committee members, a lawyer, the deputy Senate president, as the chairman. And I think this committee is going to be more serious, a very serious committee that can deliver a lot for Nigerians. We are all waiting. I think something great, and not even the kind of comfort that we are referring to. That one is political. That has its own dirty language at the back of it at the end of the day. So this particular committee, they will be directed to bills here and there as far. This is what we want to be done. The welfare, the security that we're talking about, any other thing that is already on the ground, they can now sit properly and see how we can work out the alteration. All
right, let me quickly chip in this.
Yes.
Yeah, many of the yearnings of Nigerians, the challenges bedeviling Nigerians, do you think it's because the enabling laws are not there, or it goes beyond the law, the constitution, in tackling these issues, the contemporary security issues, for example, business, lack of economic opportunities and so on? Do you think it's about the constitution, or it goes beyond amending the laws?
That is the issue of amending the law. As they are sitting, especially because seeing the deputy senate president there, I think amending the law is what they are really after. Amending the law so that people, at the end of the day, Nigerians, can take any further step in the
all right, very well, thank you. Okay, Barrister Madele, I'll come to you. Do you think Nigeria's problems, I know several times on this table we've talked about constitutional amendments, the need to tinker with one section of the law or the other. Do you think this is the right step in the right direction in actually solving the challenges bedeviling Nigeria, or do you think it goes beyond the law? It goes beyond amending the constitution?
Well, where there is no law, there is no sin.
Okay.
Now, the Constitution, which is the ground law, in the view of the National Assembly, thought it should be amended, committee set up, fine. The question is this: would they amend the Constitution and give us a Constitution that is compatible with our culture, with our society, with our upbringings? Now, I could recollect vividly that the then administration, persons, intellectuals, artisans, politicians, professors were invited, that they should give us a blueprint and what causes problem in Nigeria. They did it. They said they have comfort, which the entire country approved.
The 2014 confab.
Yes.
All right.
Till now, it's kept somewhere else. Now, if we are amending the Constitution, fine. What are we amending there? What will be the outcome? Will it not be like that of the confab that the result is unknown? So, the only advice I have for them is this: if the National Assembly is serious about it, they should go ahead and amend the relevant provisions in terms of security, in terms of finance, in terms of education, in terms of health, welfare of Nigerians, and then, importantly, address the issue of true federalism, which Nigerians have been clamoring for. If they can do this, well, and we see it, we read it, we say, okay, it's okay for us, we will take it. But the question I have is this, the doubt I have is this. Politicians, they are always strategic. As it is, they have been working, they've drawn the diagram, the chart for 2023 election. Now, their plans towards 2023 election is already on course. Hope the amendment they are seeking to do now is not a further plan to make sure that 2023 election is on their side.
Well, that's why they're calling on well-meaning Nigerians to submit a memoranda.
Yes, if memoranda is submitted, fine.
In fact, the bills.
What is the assurance that it will be taken into consideration? If the entire country, all the geopolitical zones were duly represented in 2014,
the National Conference.
Yeah, when the committee submitted that report, I could see it's about 6 volumes. And up to now, nothing is done about it. I think governance is a continuous activity. The fact that the last administration had 1 or 2 challenges does not mean that everything done by that administration should be thrown away.
All right.
Shouldn't be thrown away. Now, if the National Assembly, which is saddled with the responsibility of law making, law this, law that, amendment, adding, subtraction, is willing and ready to give us a good blueprint, acceptable constitution for this country. They should go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say that
quickly,
we have seen a lot of bills, and this particular committee are really going to be interested in most of these bills because they are fundamental, they are very relevant. The bills are talking about what is happening in this particular sector, whatever is happening in this. So it's in all ramifications. I am of the opinion, a very firm one, that this particular committee will really throw up a lot, will bring up a lot of good things.
All right, Okay, one of the concerns and agitation I hear mostly from lawyers is the fact that starting with making the Section 2 of the 1999 Constitution justiciable.
No, Section 2.
Section
Part 2.
Part 2, yes. Sure. So that is the way to go, that when those things you're meant to do, you're actually bounded by the law to actually do it. That is the way forward. Do you think those who are seeking this, don't you think this is a good opportunity for them to bring it to the front burner? And if they do, do you see it scaling through?
No. Well, I will not rule it out, but Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which deals with directive principles of state policy, which is more or less trying to direct the eyes or the activities of government, the right path to do. You know, the court has several decisions held that those provisions in Chapter 2 of the Constitution is not justiciable. But, you know, like I said earlier, the society is evolving. A lot of things are changing. The concept of human rights is also expanding. You know, when you say that someone has a right to life and you deprive the person right to education, because right to education is part of the provisions in Chapter 2.
Okay.
You know, when someone has no education, don't you think it may have an effect to the existence of that individual? You know, some other basic amenities which gives life meaning are deprived of individuals. So what kind of life are you living? So these are areas, but until then, you know, but I think the duty of the National Assembly will respect, they are not, because that provision, that Chapter 2, you know, is in their favor.
Sure.
Yes, if you make some of the provisions justiciable, you know, some of them will be answerable to the people. But because that is the way it is, we can always talk and you know, shout about it, and they will continue to run in circles, like I always say. So I don't envisage, you know, making chapter 2 of the Constitution justiciable with the current review. However, there may be serious considerations to some of these basic provisions, basic rights that are still embedded in chapter 2, which they can remove from that chapter 2 to chapter 4, or any other section that makes it justiciable. That is my position.
All right, what role do you think CSOs, those who've prior to this time clamored for a review of the Constitution, what do you think they should start doing now, you know, so as not to just leave it to this committee alone, and at the end of the day, we'll cry foul? First,
Yes, I think for me, the way they started, we have as chairman the deputy senator, a lawyer, a legal practitioner. He has been practicing, I guess, in America.
I'm talking about the role of the people. The people, yes. What according to you, we have a formidable committee accepted,
yes.
But the input of the people, according to the Senate, is needed. You know, you're seeking alteration.
Yes.
I'm not asking what role do you think they should start playing now. This is the time to act now. What do you think they should start doing?
Yeah, I know very soon they will start playing the right role, because they will be coming. They'll be appearing before these committees, and very soon everybody will be seated and wanting to hear and take the right step.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Your final words on this today's edition of the show before we draw the curtain.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the constitutional review which has been set in motion by setting up the committee, I advise Nigerians, the governors, senators, local government chairman, non-governmental organizations, to prepare their memorandum and forward it to the necessary quarter for consideration, so that we can have a formidable constitution for this country. And because we shouldn't leave it for those people at the National Assembly. Then most importantly, the National Assembly members are representing their constituencies.
Yeah.
They should go back to their various constituencies and give them education and enlighten them about the importance
and the opportunity they have now.
And enlighten them about this constitutional review, telling them the implications of keeping quiet and telling them the benefits of expressing their mind, so that the country can be moved forward. All
right. You have just 3 seconds. Anything?
Yeah, okay, I just want to,
quickly,
on a final note, to say that Nigerians should wake up from their slumber and take back their country, because it appears that most Nigerians have been docile for a while. So we'll continue to, create that impression that Nigeria belongs to all of us. So it is a collective effort, which I enjoy on Nigerians to be part of. Politics is about people, and people should be involved in politics.